love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's drop.
Hey guys, Chris here. So I wanted to talk to you guys about my second hobby, which I enjoy a lot, and that's actually doing Jiu Jitsu. You know, pretty much grappling with submissions. And for whoever, I'm sure everybody knows what Jiu Jitsu is at this point. And the way I started Jiu Jitsu was I smoked for 16 years, and when my wife became pregnant with our first child, Noah, I decided to quit smoking. I felt like if I didn't quit, he would just think it's okay for him to quit, start smoking. And you know, I tried everything. I tried, you know, weaning off. I tried everything. But really, when I set my mind to it and knew that, you know, 3 months away was my son's birth, I just quit cold turkey. So what resulted from that is smoking for 16 years. I developed, I guess, you know, it's an addiction. So you develop it's an addiction. So you develop a need for that downer, which is nicotine and however many chemicals are in cigarettes, which is a lot. And I started getting these almost like anxiety moments where, you know, you weren't getting that downer, and even caffeine was really strong for me, which I used to drink, you know, 12 pack of Dr. Pepper a day, and that's no joke. So I was very unhealthy. You know, I was getting these anxiety slash panic attacks going on. You know, I almost felt like, do I go back to cigarettes? But I couldn't do it just because, you know, I couldn't let my kids see me smoking. So I decided to just quit cold turkey. I battled the anxiety for a good year before I started going to, you know, doctors, and everybody's like, oh, you need to be on this and this. Well, I decided I'm not going to be on anything. One or two doctors told me I need exercise. So, you know, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like whatever. So I was about 240 pounds, gained a lot of weight, obviously, when I quit smoking cigarettes. And for me, that's very heavy. And I'm 5'11", and I was probably right in my 30, like just reached 30 years old. So kind of heavy, 240 pounds. Very unhealthy, eating terribly, still drinking a bunch of soda. You know, most of my food was not bad food, just not great food. And I gained a lot of weight. I ate a lot. So anyway, I decided to look at exercising. So I tried, you know, jogging. It's not for me. I tried a lot of different things, and it just didn't click for me. So what I decided to do was, in our younger years, I grew up with 3 brothers. We did some fighting in our day when we were in high school, because you grew up with 3 brothers, with 2 other brothers, you know, 3 of us total. You fight within each other, and then, you know, come to school, you have some tussles there. So I said, hey, you know what? Let me just go and try maybe, you know, kickboxing or martial arts or whatever I can do to kind of get the exercise, but not exercise in a way. So I started going to the gym I'm going to now, and started with kickboxing. I liked it. I was at the point where I liked it, but I didn't love it. And then they started just recently, right before I joined, they started doing jiu-jitsu program. Well, they were like, you know, we want people to start doing some kind of training before we go into jiu-jitsu. It's not like that anymore. Nowadays, you can come in and start doing jiu-jitsu. We're built up pretty big gym now. And so I started doing jiu-jitsu about, I think my first, right around 30 days in. So a month in, I started doing jiu-jitsu. Well, jiu-jitsu I fell in love with. It's like an addiction to me. I love everything about it. It's just the strain, the moves, the control, and I feel like honestly everybody should do jiu-jitsu, and there's multiple reasons why. I mean, let's start with your health. The cardio is insane, and you build up slowly. Everybody starts at a lower level, of course, and you build up. And you know that is frustrating in the beginning because you feel like everybody knows something, but they've been there longer than you, so they should know something. But that comes in quickly, so that's discouragement is just temporary. But I feel like so you get exercise out of it. You get self-defense. I mean, self-defense, I couldn't even explain to you how important it is and how strong it is to somebody that, and Gracie's have proved this over and over again, somebody that has not trained groundwork, ground fighting, wrestling, and let's say, you know, you're getting attacked, or a bar fight, or you know, just a whole bunch of different things that can happen. Your training kicks in, and you are much more, you know, ready for what's going on. And I'm downplaying it a little bit. I feel like you're very ready. Most people don't understand how, you know, to take somebody's back, or to hold somebody in a position, or to you know, start submitting them, and by submitting I mean breaking limbs, choking unconsciously if you have to. And for women, my wife does it, and she's been doing it for about a year now, and she loves it. We have a big women's program, kids program. With kids, it's just amazing. You got exercise. It humbles them. It teaches them structure. I mean, there's, like I said, there's a lot of things that goes into jiu-jitsu. I feel like, you know, kids that are trained in a martial art of many sorts, I would like to stick to jiu-jitsu, but any sort, you know, they're more likely to not get bullied and stop bullying instead of bullying, in my opinion, because no coach of ours or ever heard of is telling you to go beat up on kids. It's much more the opposite. It's teaching you discipline, how to be humble, how to you know, react and treat other people, and that becomes a much more important overall thing. So I'll link a picture of what I looked like right when I had my daughter, when I started jiu-jitsu pretty much. And I was 240 pounds, very, very out of shape, as you will see there. And now I'm at the point where I'm a year and a half in. I just received my blue belt, which to me is a big deal. To anybody in jiu-jitsu, a blue belt is a big deal. It's like your first milestone of really doing good stuff. So I just received my blue belt about a month and a half ago. I was very competitive as a white belt. I started early. Again, I got my brother, who came a month and a half or 2 months behind me in jiu-jitsu. Then he transferred over to MMA, so he's an amateur MMA fighter, and maybe we'll get to see some video of him one day. But very competitive right off the bat. I also wanted to be competitive because it pushes me to the next level. You don't have to be competitive in jiu-jitsu. You can do it however you want. You know, you can go to jiu-jitsu just to train self-defense, or just to train. Self-defense is a byproduct of jiu-jitsu. You're not gonna, you know, just get self-defense training all day long, but it is self-defense because it is, like I said, a byproduct of jiu-jitsu. If you look at any Gracie combative courses, it's all jiu-jitsu with, you know, some self-defense, and it becomes very, very unique. But again, so now at this point of my life, a year and a half later, I'm very healthy. My anxiety is completely gone unless I get into the ring, which I've done 11 tournaments as a white belt in a year, and now I'm going to compete on my first blue belt tournament, which is going to come up in actually next weekend. So I don't know when this recording is coming out, but Saturday the 29th, I believe, is my first blue belt tournament. I'm not sure if I'm competing at 185 or a step above that, which I'll still be about 190, 192, but I'll be competing with 210 plus. And the reason I really don't know which way to go is just because I like both. With lighter guys, they're quicker. With heavier guys, it's a different game. So I'm not sure where I want to go with this yet, but I need to figure it out by Tuesday because that's the last deadline to sign up. So my wife has competed before. My brother competes. Now he's doing, like I said, MMA, so he's doing more, focusing more on that. But I just feel like jiu-jitsu has changed my life, and it's only for the better. Yes, I've had injuries, nothing severe. I've had a pretty bad one, but it's a fluke. I had a dual compound fracture on my toe, which means the toe got dislocated and came out of the skin. I may link a picture of that. So most people will get squeamish, but yeah, so that happened. But in 6 weeks, I was back up and running. And you just can't let the little stuff, take you out of the game, especially when you have something good going on. And let me tell you something about jiu-jitsu that people don't really know. when I started jiu-jitsu, I felt like, oh, you know, these guys are fighters, and I don't know what these guys are going to be like, and are they going to beat up on me? Well, in kickboxing, it's a little different. It's a little bit more competitive. Getting hit in the nose or the face. Speaking of, I have a kind of a black nose here from jiu-jitsu, but getting hit in the face is a different category. You feel a little bit more anger in that situation, and yeah, you kind of go harder, and that's fine. If you're doing kickboxing, you understand that and you do that. That's whatever you want to do. But with jiu-jitsu, it's like a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And wherever I've been to in jiu-jitsu, everybody feels like they know you. You feel like you know them. They're very friendly. It's you know, it's a very kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe like you're so close. You're pretty much hugging another guy or girl the whole time in jiu-jitsu. So it's a very close sport. You respect your opponent, you respect your training partners, and you become really close to those people. At my gym right now, anybody will do anything for you. If you need them, they're there. If you need a training partner and you're about to go to a tournament, they're there for you. So far, all of my training partners at my gym have been great. They've always pushed me to the next level. We have an age range from little kids at 4 years old to we have, you know, 60-year-olds. I think our oldest is around 58 years old, and he is a beast. You know, it's not like you can just go in there and age is going to be a factor. What's a factor is experience and technique. That's a factor. Even strength. If you go to hit the weights all day long, you come to jiu-jitsu, that does not mean you're just going to sit there and pound on somebody. That usually means that you're going to get pounded on in jiu-jitsu because you're not flexible. You're a muscle head. You're going to try to muscle through everything, and what you're going to do is muscle yourself into a bad situation. So just look at the old Gracie videos where they have huge guys come into their gym and try to fight with the Gracies of even 16-year-old Gracies, and you'll see what happens. Most of our guys are going 5 minutes and 10 rounds, and when it comes down to sparring, so that's 50 minutes of just straight cardio. You have your breaks in between. You got to use your energy properly. You can't just gas, and you start learning that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to bring you guys a little bit into that world, show you guys a couple of videos of us kind of training. The videos you're going to see is just a couple of days of pre-tournament training. And it's just, really cool. If I can get everybody in jiu-jitsu, I wish I could. Not because it's, this or that. It's because it's going to get you healthy. It's going to teach you self-defense. And overall, you're going to be hooked. I'm telling you. It's one of those things where you don't have to be strong. You don't have to be, Superman. You don't have to be any of that. You don't have to be even athletic. Most of the guys in jiu-jitsu are, guys that works for banks or computer guys, and they just like to do this on the side as their hobby, and those guys are very dangerous guys, believe it or not. Some of the guys that do jiu-jitsu, you would never know. I'm not trying to show off for anybody. I'm just saying I became healthy from working out with jiu-jitsu. I also do weight training depending on when I'm off season. When I'm not doing a tournament, I do weight lift. And the reason I don't weightlift during tournaments or leading up to tournaments, probably like 3 weeks prior to, is because I'm not trying to gain necessarily muscle, and I'm not trying to reduce my flexibility in that time frame, especially gaining weight with muscle. So that's why I kind of tone it down. But when I'm off, as soon as I come out of this tournament, I'll be lifting weights like most of the week and doing jiu-jitsu three times a week or something like that. When I'm on tournaments, I go to jiu-jitsu 5-6 days a week, and I don't lift at all. But I've fallen in love with jiu-jitsu. I love lifting weights, and guys, I was not doing any of that prior to this. I was smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, drinking a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper, and I'm not even kidding you guys when I say I was just smoking a pack plus cigarettes a day and drinking a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper. I was a soda addict every single day. If you can imagine how unhealthy that is. And now I don't drink soda. I do drink this drink called Zevia, which I'm sure you guys heard on Joe Rogan if you're a Joe Rogan fan. It's pretty much a 0 calorie, 0 sugar. It's a stevia or stevia, however you want to say it, extract sweetener, and water. I eat well. We make, my wife and I cook. Depends on who cooks, but we're doing chicken breast and vegetables, and I love every vegetable except for a couple. Anyway, so I eat pretty well, and especially when it comes to tournaments, I eat very good. I reduce almost all my sugar intake down to what I need, and my sodium intake down to what I need. I don't carb cut. I don't do keto. I don't do paleo. I don't even know what half of these things are, because the truth of the matter is this: exercise and a balanced diet will do anything for you. As a matter of fact, if I want to go from 200 pounds to 185 pounds, I usually can do it in 2 weeks with no water cutting. That's because I bring my diet to a clean diet. I'm working out 5 days a week, and I am balancing, so I'm not eating 10 slices of bread with fattening foods. I'm eating chicken, vegetables. I can still eat carbs because I eat like these power bars that have carbs in it. I can still have sugars, but you're not gonna go crazy on that stuff. And that's really what gets you guys. It's not just this, it's not just that. It's a balance, If you're eating carbs, then you're loading up on soda, and then you're eating cheeses and fats. Well, you're not going to lose weight, I'm sorry to tell you, because sugars and carbs are pretty much the same thing. If you look at the back of a soda and there's 33 grams of sugar, it's probably going to be 30 grams of carbs, and that's because it's pretty much the same thing. You can carb load on pasta, and that's like pretty much eating sugar. It's just one of those things. I don't know the science behind it, but I know that it works for me. If you wanted a secret to losing weight, the truth is there is no secret to losing weight. There is exercise and eating right, which I don't even like to call a diet. I absolutely don't even like to call it a diet. It's eating right, exercising, and doing, being physically active. I'm very physically active in my work, on top of jiu-jitsu, on top of weightlifting, on top of my diet, but I still, live life. I have fun with my vehicle. I tinker stuff at home. I work in construction. I own a hardwood flooring company, and we only do hardwood floors and hardwood staircases. So that keeps me active because I am an owner-operator. I'm not just an owner that just throws people on the job site. So with that being said, yes, I'm active. But when I was doing, even when I was doing hardwood, when I was smoking and eating like junk, your body kind of keeps, gets used to that activity, and you're just piling on weight. So you gotta change it around, gotta move the diet around, gotta try new things, and at the end of the day, you're gonna get your results. So thank you guys for listening to my rant. Please like and subscribe if you guys like my content. It's a new channel. There's not just car stuff, it's not just jiu-jitsu stuff, it's all kinds of stuff. I just want you guys to come along with me and kind of, see what I do. You guys might find it interesting because I find you guys interesting when I watch your channels on YouTube. So I appreciate your time, and I look forward to the next video.